I'm Michelle Contreras for Kids First. So how are you liking Miami so far?
I'm having a good time.
Awesome, I'm so glad you're enjoying it. So for starters, I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was beautiful and the story was amazing, and I think you did such a great job playing the role of Robert Katwe, which leads me to ask you, was it difficult for you to play this role at first?
The thing that I anticipated being difficult is playing such a good man. I mean, sometimes for film, that's not the most interesting character to play. I think we enjoy seeing characters who are more flawed, who aren't necessarily people who have it all together, because really that reflects who we are as human beings. But, you know, as I got into it more and as I spoke to Robert and observed his life, he did have real issues to face, not necessarily with his own character and his generosity, but with the price he had to pay in order to help these kids. You know, he took economic hits, he took familial hits for what he did, and I think that's very admirable.
So you were able to create an off-camera bond with him, pretty much.
Yeah, he was there with us every day. He was our chess coach, well, our chess consultant, I should say, on the film. And hanging out with him was my research, really. You know, how he speaks, how he moves, how he interacts with these children, what it is that drives him. Those were all things I needed to know in order to be able to play him.
That's awesome. Well, this film brings both culture and truth up to the surface flawlessly, which I believe is very important, especially in the film industry, that oftentimes are either disregarded or dramatized. And my question for you is, what do you want your viewers to take in from the movie or story in general?
So often I think films that are about Africa that make their way to the West are very negative. You know, they're child soldiers, corruption, dictators, you know, disease. And those are part of African life, but those are part of life anywhere on planet Earth. It's just we've disproportionately seen that to be the narrative around that continent. So for me, to have this very positive story about people helping themselves from within the community as opposed to from without of the community is a message that I think the world needs to see, that, you know, Africa is not a continent, and African countries specifically aren't there just looking with a begging bowl, looking to the world to help us out. And I think that, you know, when you have these kind of positive images, I think they break down prejudice and they engender, hopefully, understanding.
Right, definitely. And now, with you having kids of your own, what was it like to apply your fatherly qualities to the kids that you were working with on set?
Well, I have a daughter especially. You know, I have 4 boys and then a girl, and I did this film very much as a love letter to her because, you know, I hope I can give to her what Robert gives to Fiona and these other kids, which is to encourage them, which is to get their best qualities out of them, and to encourage them to work hard and for them to feel loved, basically. And I hope that anyone and everyone who watches the film will find the opportunities in their lives to do the same.
Awesome. Now, Mira Nair specializes in making these cultural novels and true stories come to life on the big screen. How was it like to work with her and be under her wing for the time?
Well, you're absolutely right. She has a great reputation for doing that, and she really did that with this, and not least because she's lived in Uganda for 27 years, so she knows that place so well and was very keen to have it be an authentic representation of the place, which is what I'm always looking for, especially as a person of African descent myself. I want that continent, I want those countries and situations to be depicted truthfully, but not with a perspective that's already negative coming in. And I think that can sometimes be the case when you don't really know the place as well as you should.
Right. And one final question before we finish here that I'm pretty sure everybody wants to find out. After working with the pioneers and practically teaching them the steps to chess, do you believe now that you can all be grandmasters?
Definitely not. It takes a lot of work to be a grandmaster, and it's a game. What's wonderful about it is that it's a lifelong game. You'll never become an expert. You'll never become someone who feels like they've completely conquered it. And I think that's where the game is such a great metaphor for life. You've got to keep on working at it, know what your goal is, and don't give up.
Thank you so much for speaking with me. It was a pleasure. Make sure to catch Queen of Katwe September 23rd in your local theater. I'm Michelle Contreras reporting for Kids First.